Hello and welcome to my tutorial for LEGO Harry Potter years 1 through 4. In this tutorial we will be covering the any percent and no levels early versions of the level 1-2. So to start off with, we spawn immediately, or we start immediately in where we finished the previous lesson, which was Wingardium Leviosa. And we're going to start it now. So the very first thing we're going to do, this is as if the status screen had just finished, to show you that you'd got like a gold brick for completing the lesson and everything. First thing we're going to do is swap to Hermione and jump down to exit the classroom. That's very simple to do. In this room and the next room we're going to move P2 only, so player 2 is going to walk over to this way and then walk into the door here. That's very simple. This room we have some more difficult 1 player 2 controllers. I'll show you each section of it first, because that's the easy way of doing it. So the first thing we're going to do with player 1, or one of the 2 players, it doesn't matter whether it's player 1 or player 2. I think it's easier with player 1, but it can be faster if you move up here with player 2, slightly. But yeah, with player 1 you jump up here, and you're going to put down this chicken. And we see we have this camera pan here. And basically the goal of this section is that we want to line the camera pan up with the completion of this section on the bottom, where we need to build this stack of 3 pieces, blue, green, and yellow. And optimally, the way to do that is if we started the build of the chicken when the green piece is about here, around this area here, that should lead us to be able to get it around optimally. And then we'll put this piece down, and then pick up this piece and put it down. And we basically want, so we want this gate to be opening at the same time as the camera pan for the chicken being fed to the lion. If we manage to do that right, then absolutely perfect. And then we'll go through this door. More 1P2C in this room. With both characters, we want to make our way up the stairs. There we go. So Hermione's on player 1, Harry's on player 2. And we have to open the door here, but we're also going to do a bit of 1P2C to set up actually our access to the level 3-2. Because we want to set that up earlier rather than later. So player 2's job is very simple. Player 2 will come over here and just use magic on this. Player 1 will come over here and use magic on this. So it's a very simple start. Player 2 is then going to build this thing in the middle. And that's what opens the door to the level. Player 1 is going to switch to Ron, and Ron is going to switch to the pet spell. Come over here and we're going to go through this pipe. And through this pipe with Scabbers, and we're going to knock that head down. We need this for later, so that's basically one of the 4 things we need to do to open this door here to get to 3-2. So we do one of those now. And then we make our way through this door, and this is where the fun begins. We got a bit of a load, which is unfortunate. I think as it's the first time I've played the level today. Right, there we go. And then we start the level itself. And to start the level, the very first thing I need to introduce you to is the technique of pet jumping. This is the first application of pet jumping in a run. And once the game loads, eventually, there we go. So pet jumping, you can do it with Ron. But what you can do is you can recall the pet. And if you press B to recall the pet, and then press A twice in a short period of time, then you can get a double jump off of that. And we're going to use that here because we need to get Ron on top of this cabinet. And to do that, we're going to go here and double jump. And then we want to kind of, in this sliding animation, you want to kind of just hold all the, or kind of tap all the angles that get you like in this corner, because it's a range of angles that work here, but it's really weird. It seems like there's something to do with it spawning slightly differently each time that makes a different angle to hold. You kind of go through a range of angles there and just spamming the jump button to get a jump up. What you're next going to do is make sure Ron's wand is out. That's very important. So Ron's wand has fallen down there. I'm going to have to do this a little different now. So I can actually show the alternative way of doing this, which is to shoot this flower here, and then put the pet down, double jump, and hopefully get up here. It's a bit of an easier jump up, but it can be a bit harder to get onto the flower. But yeah, Ron with his wand out right now. That's what you want. And the reason we want this is because what we're going to do is we're going to jump, and we're going to tap forward around the edge of this cabinet on this side. And doing that should push Ron off a certain amount, just like that. So he's kind of just on the edge of the cabinet now. And now what we're going to do is what's known as a wrong warp. Basically, Harry is going to target Ron with Wingardium Leviosa. And then about half a second after the targeting has started, Ron is going to put his pet down. So player 1 targets Ron, Ron puts the pet down. And what that should do is that will move Ron to, as he's falling off the edge, that will move Ron to 0-0 on the map. So by doing this here, we'll see if this works. Leviosa, pet down, and this is where 0-0 on the map is. So it's a bit further along. You can see the troll is there, which is a good few units to the right of where we spawn. And then with Ron, once you get this wrong warp, you're going to go over here, put the pet down again. You can put the pet down facing this way, or you can put a pet down facing this way, which moves you a bit closer to where you need to jump up, because you're going to do a pet jump up onto this box here, and then jump up here, and jump over here. Switch the spell to Wingardium Leviosa and activate this torch. Then go to fall down and build this. Now we're actually going to we're actually not going to cancel this build, but we're going to stop building this halfway through, and it will auto build. So we're going to build this here, and then we can cancel it there, and we're actually going to drop this boulder down. Normally that gets dropped by the troll when the troll goes past, but of course the troll isn't going past. The one thing is, when you drop this boulder down, the moment it starts dropping, you need to make sure you're back inside it, because otherwise you get pushed out, and that's a soft lock. So positioning inside the boulder here, we can then lift up this trident, and that allows the boulder to be moved out the way. And then we immediately go and we're going to build this. And this is a light for the painting here, which makes us look like a girl, apparently. Makes Ron look like a girl. The moment it's built and you can see the light in the painting, you then shoot the painting, and we'll get the small camera pan. This will actually warp Harry forwards, but that doesn't matter too much. And then with player 2 again, we're going to make our way over here and activate the painting. One optimization we can do is put the pet down and go through this door with the pet. And that starts the cutscene. And now we have probably one of the more infamous tricks in the early game. We have early aggro. This is incredibly inconsistent, so I'll probably go into a more in-depth tutorial on it later. But basically what we want is, if you can see, there's a black line on the floor just underneath the T and the S of Hogwarts, near Ron's head. The very first of those black lines, we want to stand around that line with Ron, and we want to target him with Wingardium Leviosa. That is kind of the setup to try and earlier activate this troll. So I'll see if I can get it here. But there's some element of randomness to this as well. It's not perfect at all. So we'll see how it goes. So we got Ron in the right position, pretty much, but unfortunately we didn't get early aggro that time. What I'll do is I'll cut to a time where we do get it. But anyway, we've got this this boss fight here, and this boss fight's very simple. We've got to wait for the troll to walk all the way back. We don't want to walk too close to the troll, because otherwise we get hit and like he interrupts his animation. And then we come a bit further forwards, and then we Leviosa that piece forwards. A small camera pan plays. And then another camera pan will play after we throw this piece back at him. Like so. You also saw I moved Ron forwards during that camera pan. So Ron's positioned a lot further forwards than Harry. And that means he can immediately grab this club and just go up and hit the troll on the head. And that is the level complete. Okay, so once again, I'm going to go through this section a bit faster. So immediately we switch to Hermione and fall down here. And then player 2 movement in this room and in the next room. And then we have our first bit of tough 1p2c. I like to go up with player 1. That's just the way round I do it, but you can do it either way, so absolutely experiment with that. And then build the chip in just as that green piece is getting near to being clipped in. And then putting the yellow piece in. So we managed to overlap those very successfully. And that will allow us to go through the door straight away here. In this room, again, doing more 1p2c. And Harry's going to come over here. We got really lucky with pedestrian RNG there. Sometimes the extra characters like to get in the way, but we got away with that quite a lot there. So then once that is built, you can see we put the helmet down with Ron and go in the door with Harry. Now we have the pet jump at the start here. Pet jump up here. And then put Ron in a good position. There we go, that works. And then we get the wrong warp down here. And then put the pet down, pet jump again. We get up to here. And then use magic on this. And then, yeah, we start that camera pan, and we can actually let go of this build a bit earlier, so that we're ready to target the moment the light comes on. For that painting, Ron gets hit there, and we will go through the door. And once again, I will try to get early aggro here. Okay, so here we are going to try and get early aggro again. So by targeting Ron and positioning him on the black line there, we're able to get the troll to turn earlier. It's quite a precise trick to be able to get, and also has a bit of randomness to it, but we managed to get it that time. And again, we want to make sure we stay away from the troll here. You might notice my spells are a bit different here. That's because I've gone into replay story. Just to make sure that I can get this trick, but the boss fight stays exactly the same. So the boss fight stays completely identical. We'll see, he's going to push us back here to spawn that next thing, and I'm going to move forwards with Ron once he throws it, and Harry a bit, but you can see Ron's a lot closer. And that allows Ron to lift up the club and immediately hit him on the head. And that is the level.